What's up, guys? It's Quinn.
It's Alex.
It's Iconic Comic. We're back, and we're ready to review Spider-Man Far From Home. This is going to be a non-spoiler review, so if you haven't seen it yet, don't worry. We're not going to get into any details. We're just going to talk about what we liked, maybe some of the things we didn't like so much, and the movie overall. But we'll get into the spoilers in another video. So
Iron Man's dead.
Okay. Spoilers for Endgame have been out forever, all right? So I'm not worried about that. Right off the bat, my first thought going out of the movie was I liked it better than Homecoming.
Yeah, I think it was going to be difficult for them to do a sequel like that when such a big event like Endgame happened, and then to basically start over again.
Right.
And they hit it out of the park.
And the way they did it, where they actually, and you've seen the trailers, they use the events of Endgame to kind of set up some of the things that happened in this movie.
Yeah.
But they don't rely on Endgame. They don't, it's not a crutch. The movie stands on its own also, with the villain and everything that goes in with that. But I still I can't put a finger on why I think it's better than Homecoming. It's almost I can't describe it. I think maybe it's just that we've known these characters for a while now. These new Spider-Man characters, so it just feels, I don't know, like we're back, kind of.
I feel like they're just moving in the right direction, which with Spider-Man movies in the past they really haven't that well.
Well, it's usually the third one, so let's hold our breath for whatever happens at the third movie.
But with this movie, I feel like the character development with Spider-Man himself and Peter Parker was they just took the next step.
Right, and what I've been hearing a lot of complaints about this Spider-Man is that he makes a lot of mistakes. I like that because he's a kid. He's 16 years old. He's not going to be perfect.
You know what was cool about it is he always recognizes when he's messed up. It might be too little too late, but he recognizes it, and he does what he can, or he does what he can. Does that sound right to you?
He does what he can, yeah.
It just didn't sound right when I said it. He does what he can to fix the problem.
And he learns from it.
I think his powers are coming together more since he's being Spider-Man for longer, which we'll get into that later.
I think also now that you were talking about that, he's learning from his mistakes and stuff. I hope the third movie, enter movie, and I would actually like a little time jump, and he's been
he's a little bit older.
He's been doing this for a little while now, and he's just in his element, Spider-Man. He's cool. Like the PS4 Spider-Man. That's what I would love.
How old do you want him to be? 20?
I'd say a senior in high school.
Okay.
And I think that's good for the third movie, because in all the other Spider-Man movies, the first Spider-Man movie, he's graduating.
Yeah.
Or I think he was in his senior year in the first Andrew Garfield, and he graduated in the beginning of Amazing Spider-Man 2. But we never got a lot of time to spend in high school. I would like to spend one more movie in high school, his senior year, dealing with girl trouble and all that other stuff that comes with that, prom.
That was another thing that
Spider-Man.
I love so much about this new Spider-Man is that it's just like the comics. To where he's dealing with all these issues, and throughout the movie he's mentioning MJ and I have this plan, I got to do this, and
that was always what's cool about Marvel characters in general, is that they have real life problems, they have relationship problems, they have bills to pay, they got all they're not
rent.
They're not gods other than Thor, and that's about it. And even Thor has dealt with some issues now, some personal stuff. Performances, Tom Holland hasn't skipped a beat.
No.
He's the Spider-Man that he was in Endgame. He was the Spider-Man he was in Infinity War, Homecoming, Civil War.
You know what's going to be awesome?
Movies.
You know what's going to be awesome is when he gets old enough, or if he lands a role that's not in Marvel, and see how he does.
Right.
When Robert Downey Jr. did The Judge.
Right, I really like that
or
movie.
Or Snowpiercer.
Chris Evans.
With Chris Evans and stuff like that. I can't wait for him to branch out.
Well, he's
going to
be young Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Jake Gyllenhaal
was amazing.
You know, we always talk about
no spoilers.
No. When we talk about Spider-Man, we always talk about the villains, and they've done such a good job with the villains. Like they I'm trying not to spoil it. The way that they write the movies for the MCU, it's worlds difference from the comics, but it makes sense.
Right.
It makes sense, their origin stories and how it all ties in with the MCU. I feel like they did his character justice.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I thought Mysterio was done very well, and if you've read a comic or watched the old TV shows and remember Mysterio, they treat him in a very similar light, but they put a twist on it that the MCU likes to do to make everything feel kind of this like universe, and I think everybody's going to really like that. All the classmates were great. I thought Zendaya had a lot a lot more to do in this movie. I thought she was good, and I'm actually really starting to like her as MJ because she's not the damsel in distress, which is what MJs have been in the past.
It's a modern character.
Yeah,
it's a modern way of thinking now.
Ned's great. There's some really funny stuff that if you've watched any of the trailers, you'll notice that like him and Betty are kind of together. That stuff is funny. Amazing. I'm trying to think of the other characters. Aunt May's not in the movie too much.
No.
Which is fine. That's fine. Happy was awesome in this movie.
He's very cool. He's
been he's the through line of the MCU. Let's be
honestly, yeah. I think he's the closest thing to an Uncle Ben that
probably
that Peter has had.
Probably.
Tony was like
other
a father figure. Well, yeah. Tony was like a father figure. Mm-hmm. But Happy, I feel like, has been
cool Uncle Ben. Yeah. Are we missing any characters? Nick Fury.
Well,
Nick Fury's cool.
Yeah.
He's in it sparingly, but the parts he's in is really good. There's no bad performances in the movie.
No.
I thought they definitely upped the action. Like the choreography was amazing.
Like the visual effects with Mysterio when we'll get into it later, but I think I'll wait till the spoiler. Because I can't talk about it without saying how they did it.
And all the suits that you see in the trailers, like all the different suits, they're all dope. Like they're all cool.
So cool.
I'm trying to think of like bad things.
Let's see. The music.
I would say it wasn't.
I liked the music.
Yeah, but it
wasn't memorable.
No.
I mean, I like the score.
Yeah, it wasn't very memorable. There were some actually good actual soundtrack songs they put in there that we'll get into in the spoiler review. But score could have been more memorable. I think once you come off an Avengers movie and the music's just balls to the wall, it's kind of hard to compare it. But I'm still searching for that because I'm not sure I love the MCU's Spider-Man theme that they give him. It's almost like they're trying to do a play on the original Spider-Man theme song. I'd be okay if they just used made an orchestra version of that, and that was his theme. Like, remember at the end of the trailer where it was playing dun 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 dun, dun I'd be hyped.
That's a little campy though. Well, I mean,
yeah, but so is Spider-Man. In general, Spider-Man's campy.
But with the MCU though, when he's swinging in, and he had his come to Jesus moment, and he's like, "All right, let's fight." Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
I wouldn't feel as hyped.
Right. But I think that's a minor complaint.
If I had to complain about something,
and I would say most of the jokes hit. I mean, I don't, and even if it wasn't the funniest joke, none of the jokes I went like that. I didn't cringe at any of them. It was it was either a really really funny one or but I'm okay with that in a Spider-Man movie because it's supposed to be funny. He's goofy. He's quirky.
Right.
It'd be like if Deadpool, like if you said, man, that Deadpool movie had way too many jokes in it. Like,
yeah, you'll never hear that. I really can't think of anything else without spoiling it.
I'm ready to score it.
All right.
So, just overall thoughts again. I think it was better than Homecoming. I actually think this might be Tom Holland's best performance as Spider-Man in any of the movies he's been up to this point. I think the choreography was great. Music could have been a little better, but overall, I'm going to give Spider-Man Far From Home an 8 out of 10.
And I do want to say before I score it, I have given scores in the past that don't deserve the scores that I gave them. I just want to preface that.
Right.
So if you look back in a past video, like, well, he scored that a 10, but he only scored Far From Home this.
I think scores are ever changing.
Thank you.
Because, you watch a movie one time, then you watch it the third time, and you get something different out of it.
It's like, oh, wait, that movie actually did suck. No, but Far From Home, I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Ooh. So, 8, 8.5, combined, 8.25 average. Is that correct?
Sounds right, yeah.
Feels like it's in the middle there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right, but I think it's right. So, combined average 8.25. Go see this movie, guys. I think honestly, this was what we needed after the craziness of Endgame. Like Endgame was such like I've seen Endgame 15 times in the theater. It's still and not in a bad way. Endgame is still it's a marathon. Like it's a lot. So to be able to kind of sit back with Far From Home and just kind of have fun, and it's not a world-ending event kind of deal.
Right.
Like that's exactly what we've been saying. That's what the MCU needs now, is to bring it back down. And I think this was the right step in that direction.
Most definitely.
All right, guys. So let us know what you guys thought in the comment section down below. Make sure you like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe.
So you guys don't miss a single thing from the channel. And let us know what you guys thought about Spider-Man down in the comments below.
Make sure you guys stay tuned.
Stay iconic.
And cue music.
Holy Grail.